Tonight we are hearing firsthand in the arguments of an open courtroom between Harvest Church and the United Methodist Church, the denomination they are trying to leave. WDHN's Aaron Dixon has been following this story and joins us live with more on the oral arguments.
Yeah, Michael, today we're hearing from both Harvest and from the United Methodist Church in the Alabama West Florida Conference. And in those arguments, the denomination is trying to get this case thrown out as a case as a whole and handle it within the confines of the church, while Harvest is trying to prevent the denomination from seizing their property if they were to leave the denomination, and feel should be a case that should be handled in a courtroom because it had to do with property law and not the laws of the church. Before a full courtroom and 9 Supreme Court justices in Montgomery, Dothan's Harvest Church argued against the United Methodist Church in the Alabama West Florida Conference.
We welcome a full house here today for a case that involves an institution that affects most Alabamians.
The Supreme Court will decide from the arguments and the facts of the case whether or not this case between the church and the denomination they are trying to leave is one for a courtroom or a case that needs to be handled within the church. The church is trying to keep the denomination and the conference from seizing property, as Harvest is trying to leave the denomination. According to the denomination, they are accusing the church of not wanting to follow church law and instead wanting the court to allow it to disaffiliate on its own terms.
Harvest is trying to create a separate pathway to disaffiliate. That's what they really want to do.
The discipline is only relevant if there's some evidence that we explicitly consented to it in a writing, because what we're really arguing about here is real estate. We're arguing about $10 million worth of property in Dothan.
The denomination claims it has a stake in Harvest. Harvest denied that claim, saying a $25,000 contribution to constructing its church was a grant.
We do not believe that it would be appropriate for a church to be allowed to ignore what it agreed to when it joined a denomination and just run to a circuit court and say, well, I don't want to follow the church law.
The denomination asked the Houston County judge to dismiss the case, arguing that it was an issue that needed to be handled in the church and not in a courtroom, but that motion was denied.
This entire case, and what I want to get to, is the notion that anything, and I'm quoting from opposing counsel here, anything and everything to do with the church is ecclesiastical. And therefore, essentially, if we put it in our book of discipline, it becomes ecclesiastical, it becomes off limits, and we have our own special rules that the courts are obligated to enforce and not to give any benefits or favors to local churches in that situation. We know that can't be true.
And over the last 2 years, over 248 churches, United Methodist churches, have left the conference. The case has been taken under advisement between Harvest Church and the United Methodist Church and the Alabama West Florida Conference by the Supreme Court justices. And it could take about 6 to 7 more weeks for the judges to reach a decision, Michael.